Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to this week's Unconventional Wisdom on Grief and Loss. This is session 27, so 27 non-consecutive weeks, although many of them were consecutive, of Unconventional Grief Wisdom on Grief and Loss. My name is Delilah De La Rosa. I am the person receiving this unconventional wisdom on grief and loss. To my side here is Steven Morrison. He's the creator of Spiritual Workout, which is the practice that is the foundation for this unconventional wisdom on grief and loss.
Soon to be conventional.
Right. As well as the author of An Extra Year, Grief and Loss in the New Age. The copy of my book is in New York, which I will be back there pretty soon.
And mine is on loan. I just loaned it last week to somebody who.
Yeah, but we're keeping it alive on this in this series. It's definitely lots of the stuff, the material in that book is essentially what we talk about here. So, welcome everyone to tonight's session. I would like to say that this is going to be most likely the last session before my mother's 1 year since her passing. So we basically started this series in light of my mother who transitioned back on November 4th of last year. We started this in January of this year. And I have been no stranger to Spiritual Workout. I was host and producer of Spiritual Workout Online for a couple of years. And I have witnessed Steven working with folks who are having this experience of grief and loss and approaching it the spiritual workout way. As well as reading his book, An Extra Year, back in 2006 or 8? 8. Yes. It happened in 2006, 2005, 2006, and book published in 2008. That was my first trip down An Extra Year. And of course, when I read it first, then it really spoke to me. It made a lot of sense to me, and it really enlightened me for the many ways that people can approach grief and loss. A lot of the myths, a lot of these rules and formulas, regulate timelines that people say, oh, you're going to go through these stages, these, on this timeline, this is how you're going to feel. And so I was very much enlightened, and it really spoke to me, this book. But of course, after my mom's transition back in November, I picked up the book again, and it had a whole new meaning. So thank you, Steven, for doing this with me for all this time. When we started this, we did not know how long it was going to be. We were thinking, let's just start out with like 8 to 12 weeks kind of thing. Let's see where it takes us. And we're doing it consecutively for probably about 20 weeks. And then we just kind of was like, all right, let's, when I went to Grenada for my trip to Grenada is when we were like, you know what? I think when I come back, let's do it. Let's live a little, apply, align, live a little, apply, align. And then I guess whenever it flowed to have another session, just like a nice little, boost, pick me up, reminder session. After doing that, living, aligning, applying, living, applying, aligning, is when we've just kind of come back for some sessions, just not consecutive, just as needed. So this will probably be this is definitely going to be the last one before my mom's 1 year on November 4th. And we'll see when we pick this back up, because Steven is going to be out of the country as well. So,
but not off the planet.
Not off the planet, not completely off the grid, but also mindful of the fact that he's going to be in another side of the world. So we wanted to take this time to squeeze in another session before all of that. So thank you, Steven. Thanks to everyone who's here. Mom, if you're around, Duder, who's the subject of An Extra Year, Steven's partner, welcome. And anyone, anything, any divine beings who are around, welcome. Hello.
And engaged in this project of the
Yes. Thinning
making
the
us
veil.
aware of the thinning of the veil. Yeah.
Exactly. So, with that said, there's definitely a couple of things that I'd like to get to. I think one of the first, I'm just going to do one thing. I think one of the first things that we've been talking about in the last couple of sessions is going back to the intention of how I'd like to be, the intention for this grief and loss experience.
And from where I sit, this is obviously part of our ongoing
Yes.
practice. Set this intention, get it shiny and clear. As Delilah says, live some life, apply, align, live some life, apply, align, cultivate, 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 and check in. Where are we at any given point relative to what we set out to do? Sometimes we're just spot on. Sometimes we veer off and change what we're wanting to do. Intentions are like us, they're flexible, they change, they grow and evolve. Uh, so that's all about from my perspective.
Yes. And I feel like I had updated the intention from when I first did it. And and I think like I was thinking about some other stuff, perhaps maybe changing some of the wording, and then also some new stuff that's come up as a result of living, applying, aligning. So definitely want to get that, pay attention to that, put attention to that in this session. Also want to talk about just how I've been generally feeling now that we are approaching tomorrow will be a year since she had been admitted to the hospital for the last time and where she ended up passing. And this month has been a bit heavy-hearted. I have my weepy moments. I'm noticing that the sleep procrastination, like the staying up late, like wee hours of the morning, has been really in effect.
And just to be clear, this is something that far predates your mom's
Yes.
passing for
Yeah.
you
But
personally.
I have an understanding as to why I like to do that and why, even when I intend on changing that, and like really have a very strong desire for it, I end up sleeping even later. So, but I'm giving myself a lot of grace, because I see how that is like my warm and fuzzy time. And being that I've been feeling pretty vulnerable emotionally, I see how I've been really wanting to cling to that little life raft, like that's how I'm kind of seeing it. It's like my little warm, fuzzy place where I feel safe and at peace, kind of. um, So that's definitely been in full effect. And I had an inspired idea about a couple of weeks ago to do a kind of mini family reunion, like the immediate family, and bringing them together at a restaurant a Peruvian restaurant. Well, actually, one of the restaurants that catered my mom's service,
Hmm.
and bringing
The
some
food
family.
was good.
Yeah, it was delicious. It was delicious. I mean, it was a wonderful service. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better service. I felt really good about that. But yeah, I had this inspired idea to, do something on the 4th, and bringing some family together. Well, I'm going to head back to the East Coast. And like I said, it was an inspired idea. I didn't feel like, oh, I should do something. And then, it was actually like, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. And I reached out to my cousin who pretty much was in charge of all of like the food and beverages. Um, uh, my mom's service last year. And the thing is that she was not in a good place. She was sick, and really stressed out, had a lot of stuff on her plate. So like a week kind of went by before she really even did anything to reach out to the contacts. So then the time started going down to like, okay, maybe I should do like a little save the date and let people know this is what I'm thinking. Like kind of keep it
Hmm.
casual. Like I was like, this needs to be done with ease. Like I don't want to feel pressure. I don't, any of that. Um, and I really did feel like it could be done with ease, to tell you the truth. Like that's why
Hmm.
I ended up doing it. Um, uh, but yeah, I noticed that I was starting to get in, and this kind of brings me to more of general feeling that I've been having, where there's this layer of like bleakness, um, where I'm having like a bleak outlook on things. And like I said, like you mentioned, it's not like that this doesn't predate this whole experience with my mom. Anytime there's something set in the future, I can
Hmm.
go into struggle mode, like what if this, or like I don't know about that. And I kind of like, I'm already, the default is that it's going to be hard, or what can go wrong. That's been very well practiced. So,
Hmm.
um, however, I'm noticing that I brought this up before, that whenever I go into even trying to feel what it feels like to live in the intention or intentions, there's this like bodily resistance, or just an internal resistance. Like it's a sensation, actually,
Hmm.
that's like, no. And my outlook is kind of bleak, like, and I'm just feeling very sensitive to it, because like, for example, when I finally was able to get in touch with my cousin, just to kind of see like, okay, what can I do, this. And I guess I was looking, and we've talked about this in other sessions as well, um, for a source of like reassurance, right? Um, um, that
Reassurance of that
gonna turn out
everything's gonna
great,
be okay.
and everything's gonna be okay, and enthusiasm, even like, let's do it. Like, yeah, of course, don't worry about it. Like, woohoo, right? And I know that I'm possibly not attracting that because of where I am internally,
Hmm.
Um, and so I was aware of that. And my cousin did preface the conversation by saying, I'm not in a good place. And I was like, okay, I got it. I'm also the older cousin, by the way, right? So
Hmm.
it's like,
Not a
however,
good place vis-a-vis your mom in this time, or just other stuff.
a lot of other stuff,
Okay.
physically, emotionally,
Okay.
there's just a lot going on in her world. Um, but I guess I just felt like, you know, when I'm in that vulnerable place, I see how I may really feel thirsty to seek that inspiration, reassurance, security from others, you know? I see that, right? Like
Mhm.
how I'm seeking it out. And I know conceptually that they're not source, right? Like source is source.
Right.
And um, you know, that type of reassurance, security, enthusiasm, passion, inspiration comes from my own well, from myself, capital
Yes.
S, and the
Yes.
divine,
Yes.
right? Um, so it was a good reminder because after that conversation where it was just kind of a bleak kind of conversation, you know, not taking it personally because
Mhm.
I know this, you know, people have to go to the bathroom, right? I love that saying, by the way. It's from Abraham Hicks. And it's just like, you know, when you look to others for inspiration or to be your source for, you know, in any type of way, they have to go to the bathroom sometimes. You know? They're not available,
They
basically.
might not be there.
People may not be available, you know,
Right.
and that's okay. That's okay. Because there's a steady stream of availability coming from the divine, coming from self, right?
Mhm.
Um, However, when I am feeling vulnerable, I am feeling a little like, um, you know, bleak outlook on things, just heaviness. Um, I notice myself more susceptible to getting influenced or being affected by other people's energy, right? So I walked away from that conversation just like, you know, about not just my what we were doing with the this dinner, but also about going back to New York and like, you know, after the year, like what's going on, like a little bit of an existential, like, you know, just like, ugh, and not being able to shake it off too much, right? But I will bring this up, and this goes back to the intention. So I walked away from this conversation feeling like I just mentioned, and
Mhm.
then um, you know, just kind of reflected on it a bit, knew right away that, okay, this is a reminder of what source, right? And that, sure, they could be a source of enthusiasm and like, come on, let's, you know, snap out, we got this, you know, a
Mhm.
cheerleader. Sure,
Mhm.
could be a source, but I can't rely, depend
Right.
on others to be that for me. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I knew that already. And I was like, okay, I think this is a reminder, similar to when I burned myself accidentally. It's like, okay, I think this is a reminder I need to be present. You know what I mean? These little accidents for not being present, right?
Mhm.
Um, However, it still, you know, was feeling heavy still, you know, even with that recognition.
Mhm.
However, when I was talking to my husband as he was going to bed, and you know, we have a little debrief of what's going on in our inner worlds or outer worlds. I put into words, I vocalized my intention for this mini reunion, and I walked away from after doing that. I walked away feeling a bit more fortified,
Good.
right? And I was like, "Okay, power of intention." That helped me pivot a bit. That helped me pivot a bit, you know? So I'm not complete. I can't co It's not that I cannot access, you know,
Right.
this.
Right.
I can. Just, you know, it's gonna take some effort
So
here.
what changed fundamentally from before you had that conversation to after?
I think I focused more on the love. Well, the focusing on the intention, which really um, brought up the love
Hmm.
that I that this is rooted in love
Hmm.
and inspiration, right?
Yes, which.
I was able to put that focus on that as I was vocalizing what the
Hmm.
intention was behind this. And it made me feel a
Yes.
little more like, okay, like empowered, fortified.
Well, and what I would say the answer to that question is I changed what I was thinking.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
appreciate what you're saying and the details and the ways in which you did it, but fundamentally, that's all
Yes,
that happened. You
yes.
went into it with one set of think
I
one.
pivoted a bit more into
Yes.
a different
You
line of thinking.
changed what you, yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So I just
Yeah.
want to underscore that because that's everybody wants to make it so complicated, but that's really it. So Delilah's saying it's like, wow, whether I did it on purpose or not, that conversation reoriented me. I started thinking differently and I instantly felt differently. That's the whole,
Yeah.
that's what we're
Much
saying
more
all
empowered,
the time.
fortified with this, like, okay, you got this.
Hmm.
And what was really great was that when I woke up the next day, yesterday, when I woke up, I did feel a little bit of like anxious, a little anxiety, the sensation, because I was like,
Hmm.
okay, it's prime time, like it's 2 weeks out now, and let's get all our ducks in a row. I got to reach out to the restaurant and see what's up or whatever. And and yet I think that by my vocalizing that intention had me my going down a different line of thinking, that my as soon as I saw my husband when I woke up, he was like, so tell me, what kind of help do you need with this, like let me know. And I was like, I just kind of worried about, like, I didn't realize that the prices were so steep, and I'm feeling like a mixed bag of emotions with that. Like I'm just feeling a little more prone to feeling anxious about things, and like, doubting things or whatever. And I was like, I could just really use some reassurance from you. And he's like, well, what does that mean? I was like, by just, speaking me out of scarcity, for example, like helping me, kind of like be like, it's okay. It's all good. We got this. And that's what he did. Like naturally, he was like, Delilah, like this is not going to, we're not going to make rent off of it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's going to deter us from making rent or paying our bills. Those are all good. Like it's not going to affect our livelihood. This is a one-time thing too. It's not like this is a monthly cost. You know what I'm saying? And that made me feel a lot better, and
Hmm.
it reminded me of a similar experience same time last year, actually, when I was feeling lack and insufficient in helping my mom. I had this place of like feeling at a loss and a little bit in despair, because my mom was just not doing well. And then it just brought up this thing of like, I don't have a big enough place. I just want, this is my intention, to like, is to provide a loving, caring environment for my mom, as she goes through this experience. And I was just feeling a lot of lack. And my husband like spoke reassurance, like he was very reassuring. He was like, look, Delilah, like this is not a time to skimp. I was just kind of thinking and then he reminded me, he's like, your mother has resources. We have resources. Like, like we're not helpless here. And so he helped. And it was like really interesting because I was feeling bleak. Like I had that bleak outlook same time last year. And it's interesting how it's kind of like come up again around the
Hmm.
same time. However, I don't
Well,
feel exactly
as
the
you,
same, right?
but also, yeah, but you also said that that's at least has been for a good chunk of your life your default. one
Yeah.
way or another.
Right.
So, and what was prompting it a year ago is different than what's prompting it now, but it's still that's the whole idea,
No,
right? We have
it feels, yeah,
it,
that feeling, that sensation, that feeling is very similar,
yeah,
uh, to how it was then, but I was feeling bleak because I was just like, you know, I don't know if my mom's going through a rough patch or if she's dying, and
yeah,
now it's like, I know that she passed away, and
right.
yet
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
triggered by something different, but it's only triggered in you because it's in you.
it's in me.
And
It's
you've
in
done a
me.
lot. You had the awareness, oh, this is that thing again. And it's predates this whole loss experience for you. And this is what it means as spiritual beings having human experiences. We're going to, there's nothing we're experiencing by accident. So, still through this process, as you know, contend with adjusting to life without your mom here in the physical, you're having opportunities, and we've touched on this several times, to to address from a different perspective old issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what it
Absolutely.
means to there's no accident, there's something always in it for whatever always in it for us for whatever it is that we are struggling with or being challenged by.
Mhm. Mhm. So, and then on top of that, I've been going to an osteopathic doctor for treatment, which has been really helpful. I
Mhm.
I haven't felt the issue that I was feeling, the last 3 months. Um,
Good.
so when I was telling her about what I was planning, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just kind of feeling a little nervous because of the prices. And it's just, I just was feeling like kind of bleak about it. And she was like, you know, it's a one-time thing. You know what I mean? And when she said that, I was like, I touched her shoulder and I was like, thank you for saying that. My husband said the same thing. I feel like that's a sign.
You think?
You know, and now I could have, and I did go a little bit in the way of being like, well, see, I don't want to rely on her or my husband to feel
You're
that
not
real.
relying on it, but
However, I changed that, and I was like,
mhm,
no, my pivoting last night is what attracted
thank you
this.
very much.
Yes. Yeah. Is what attracted this experience with my husband and my
Right.
osteopathic
Which
doctor.
just shows no matter how or why we're ever out of alignment, we can snap back into it and be there is no past, there is no future. We're right where we want to be, even if we weren't for the last 5 days, 5 hours, 5 months, whatever it is. So the I appreciate the pivot story because it's just another example of what we talk about all the time. Oh, wow,
Mhm.
I'm noticing I'm out of alignment. Let me get back in alignment. Oh, look, here comes the inspiration, even if I went looking for it or asking for
Right, and I wasn't even, uh, because my husband was not in that place the day before, right? But, like, once I saw him when I woke up and he was just like, "What do you need?" Like, he was just, like, flowed into that, and I was like,
it.
"Oh,
Yes.
okay." So, that's how I saw that, as opposed to,
Yeah.
like, "There you go," like, "Yes, you got the reassurance, now you're, like, relying on the" and I was like, "No, you actually did the work first."
You accept the reassurance. It's delightful to have.
Right.
But to your point earlier, it's just not a good plan to depend on it and build your life around
Others
needing it.
doing that.
And yeah,
Yes, yes. So, I'm at a place where I'm feeling, sure, maybe a little bit like, under, not, I don't want to say under the gun. It's not that. I just feel a little bit okay, let me just organize that. Let me just get the venue down, and okay, right? um, but yeah, with this experience, and I think this is what's going to point us to the intention. With this experience, a couple of things came up, not just the stuff that I mentioned in terms of, you know, bleak outlook uh, on things and, scheduling something in the future and kind of like worrying about it or not feeling like secure about it. Um, it also brought up, um, it also brought up this idea that my mom was like my favorite person in that side of the family. I don't know if that sounds weird or not, but she was
Hmm.
like my favorite person, of that side of the family, my mom's side of the family, right? And and that my cousin, she was like my second favorite person from the family. Why? Because she reminds me a lot of my mom. And she loves
And the
my
two of them are close.
yeah,
Right?
and she loves my mother. Um, and when everything was going down last year, my cousin really stepped up in terms of being very warm and nurturing and caring for me.
Mhm.
Which again reminded me of my mom, you know what I mean? And I also want to add that, I don't really attract that type of behavior or that type of interaction, that type of dynamic with me because, people see me, I'm like, very assertive, holds my own, you know what I mean? Can't really tell me shit. Like, like, don't try to kick down words of wisdom. You know what I mean? Like, do we need to do that? No, you know. My dad's even told, like, has said, "Is like I don't tell Delilah shit because she." However, my mom, no matter what my personality, you know, is like, would always give me that warmth and love and affection, like my baby, you know what I mean? And I don't get that from anyone else. And I got a little bit of that. I get a little bit of that with that cousin, even though she's younger than me. But even, I get a little bit of that with my cousin. And she was definitely showed up that way for me when my mom was sick and passed away, right? Um, this time around, I guess I was really hoping, expecting maybe a little bit that type of energy from her, but she was in the bathroom, right? It's not available for that. And
That day.
that day, that day. Um, and I think beyond the whole, like, oh, I don't want to have a bleak attitude about this event or whatever, or that affecting my outlook on this event. It also made me feel a little insecure about the connection with my family now that my mom is no longer here. And I just started thinking a little bit about like, how are we going to do holidays now? And, I just started feeling insecure
So
about
here's a perfect opportunity to replace the anxiety, the insecurity with an intention. How do you want it to be?
that's where I'm like, this is a good segue into the intention
Mhm.
because this stuff came up, like, other stuff that came up that I would like to add to this intention, and I'll recite it in a sec. um but I was thinking about this late last night and get to work on it in the intention today. But that I am still I instead of having these fond memories of my mom, you know, I keep having the memories of her being sick and dying. And those flashbacks. And I was thinking for the intention to update the intention with I have really fond memories of my
Good.
mom. I also added into that something like stronger, but just I have really fond memories of my mom, like, living a really good life, doing her thing, because right now, Stephen, like I said, those flashbacks come up. And then also, not just with her, but also with the family, both sides of my family, by the way. There's these feelings, thoughts, beliefs that bring up pity and sympathy, like feeling sorry for family. And I'm like, where the hell is this
For
coming
your
from?
whole family?
Yeah.
Like, because of your mom's passing?
No, I think it's just like I think but with my mom's passing, I realized that I do hold those types of thoughts about my relatives, where I feel not every single one, but many of them, where I feel like sorry for them. And this is why I think these flashbacks of my mom, it makes me feel sorry for her. Like, oh, like how she was suffering, she was in agony. And that's how
Mhm.
I feel like my grandfather, my uncle, my cousin, um, my father, and it's funny because I was wondering if it was a feeling like, oh, they don't have as much money or something like that, like they're working class. But then it's like, Delilah, like, um, in many ways, they're better off than you are. Like and financially and all that, you know what I mean? So it's like it's a way of thinking that, and I don't like pitying people. It's not a good feeling. It's not, I guess it's because I feel like I'm seeing people as victims, right? And
Well, nor is it appealing to be pitied
no, not at
for
all.
most
Not at
people.
all. And no one's asking for it either. You know what
It's
I mean?
judgment. It's just a
It
form of
it
judgment.
totally is. And I don't one of my other care professionals was saying when I brought this up to her, she was just like, well, it may just be a projection for yourself, you know? And
It's all it ever is.
yeah, exactly. That's what she said. It's all it ever is, because I told her, I was like, it's not even true. Like, they're not like destitute, like far from it. Like, no, they're not high earners. They are working class peoples, like historically working middle or finally middle, or something. But um I that's not um like I just see how that can really bring me down, like
Absolutely.
it really brings me down. It could also really affect relationships because I want to avoid, because it just feels so heavy, right? It's like speaking to my grandfather, for instance, it's like I have to really prime myself because there's this energy, there with that. And I don't like that. I want to be present with my grandfather. I mean, he's 91 years old. He's complaining now about not feeling great. He wasn't like that in his 80s, right? But in the 90s, he's like, yeah, everything's malfunctioning. Fuck this. It was just like, and I'm like, no, abuelo, stay put there, please. Stay put. Um, So yeah, I wanted to bring that stuff up because I'm noted, this is all stuff that's coming up as I live and move through this experience. Again, a lot of the stuff predates, but this experience is definitely bringing them up front and center. And it's affecting me. It's affecting me. It's not, it's getting in the way of my even stepping into, even deigning to access these intentions, sometimes. Um, but not all the time. Because, for instance, I spelled out my intention for this event that I want to put on, and I
Mhm,
felt I could do it, and it felt good, and it felt very
mhm.
rooted in love and power, you know?
So let's remember that the struggle is when we're more in the challenge, more in the struggle, and we've got this idea of an intention, the best practice is what do I have to do here now today to align with that intention? There will always be some, I shouldn't say always, but there's very often some resistance, conscious and otherwise, and often very unconscious when it comes to resistance. Why am I resisting the very thing that I say I want? Right.
Or even sometimes
So,
not even being able to get to that
so that's
thing.
where tapping really helps.
Yeah.
Very general tapping, you know. Uh, but the idea is, as you have been describing tonight, the idea is when aligned with the intention, that's where we're back in the flow. That's where the inspiration comes. That's where we feel a lot better. So it's the answer is always, what am I wanting? If what I'm sitting in today is not 100% what I want, what is that distance? What is that want? And what do I need to do here now today to align further with it? And it's usually just changing thoughts and beliefs, as you well know.
Mhm.
And tapping is a fantastic tool for that, as you well know.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I did do some tapping on Monday.
Mhm.
I did do some, tapping on grief. I actually did it
What
with
does
a
that mean? Take me through like
I
what
did
you're
it with a, one of the tapping folks on YouTube that spoke
so
specifically
like
to
an
loss.
existing script or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because I was just like I just needed, like, to follow along,
Yeah.
like, right then. I was just like, "I need to follow along," and it helped. It
Good.
helped, it kinda moved things a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, definitely tapping. I just did some NET, neuro-emotional technique. And that's another release modality. Um, and so that stuff has been helpful. I just can't stress enough how much I know intentions matter. It's one of the concepts that we work with in spiritual workout. And yeah, intentions do matter. And it's really important that I align with them. I put attention to them. And should we recite what I have here?
Yes, let's do that. And
Okay.
is this something that you crafted like in the very first week or two that we started doing this?
This was updated, I think,
Okay.
maybe like 6 weeks ago or something.
Okay.
And in the last 2 weeks, I was like thinking of some other stuff to put in there.
Okay.
Okay. So it says, there is no doubt that I am connecting with my mom. I am 100% certain that she's at her very best in the non physical. There is solid, unmistakable two-way communication between myself and my mom. Our connection and spiritual gain is so strong, powerful, and magical that it actually transcends the physical loss. The connection inspires and propels me to be bold, self expressive, and trusting of myself, capital S, life, and the divine.
How does that feel to you to read that at this moment?
It feels nice and concise. Like it feels like nice and
Hmm.
concise and sturdy.
Hmm.
I also feel like I wanted to add some things there
Hmm.
that has just been coming up. For example, adding the fond memories, fond flashbacks, right? Or this is why I wanted to bring this up to you because I'm noticing that when I try to think about, and I have many fond memories of my mom, you
I
know,
know.
uh, but when I try to think about the memories of when she was alive here on Earth, and many fond ones, it makes me sad.
Because you're thinking what?
I think it brings me back to the physical loss.
And
Uh,
what's the thought that goes along with that?
um, harder to connect. Harder to connect. Sorry. Uh,
Okay.
harder to connect. Um,
S-
uh, also, okay, this is good. When I think of those fond memories of her, I start getting into feeling bad, sorry, sympathy over the fact that here she was living her life and then not knowing what was to come,
Okay.
getting stuck in
So, and that adds up to what in terms of a belief?
it,
Put
it,
that
it
into a belief.
it's like a sad story for me. And
Well,
see,
if she didn't know what was coming, then that means what?
blindsided,
Meant
blindsided, um, uh,
unfair. Life is unfair.
yeah, life is unfair. Um, and maybe a little bit of being a victim of, you know, life and cancer. Um,
Her or you?
her. Um, I think her departing in a way that, at least in her conscious mind, she did not want.
Right.
So that kind of brings up like victimy type of feeling, and that makes me feel really bad.
Well, all of these kinds of thoughts and this family of beliefs will, of course, make you feel bad. You know, it's
Yeah.
harder to connect. Now I'm thinking that it's hard to connect, but my intention is the connection is always on and really strong. It's a sad story. That's okay to have that thought or idea, but it's also a judgment. It
Yes.
also, along with life is unfair and even the victim part, right? It's that
Mhm.
those are your thoughts and ideas
Mhm.
wherever, however they come from, but there's no way to hold and harbor and entertain those this family of thoughts and ideas and beliefs and not feel bad.
Absolutely.
So our
I know
practice is,
pity is
yeah,
not good
and
you
all
know.
that. And so there's also a piece that's missing in here, you know, and that's where the judgment comes in. Um, that there's no accident to whatever any of us experience, no matter who we are and no matter what it looks like to anybody else, right? So for us to have judgments, as we always do, about like this family stuff, wow, that was really too bad. That's she didn't see that coming. That wasn't fair. Uh, you know, those kinds of thoughts is where we go in this practice. You are halfway home from eliminating, should that be your desire, the sadness, right? And because you're seeing very clearly what you're believing. So then it's just a matter. So even though I'm believing this family of thoughts about how hard it is to connect, about how unfair it was, my mom was blindsided by this, how she were, and just give voice to them. Because those are the beliefs, those are the reasons that kind of intending to have fond memories gets smothered,
Yeah,
because you can't have the fond memories and
exactly.
harbor that family of beliefs.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Um, I know we have tapping and other ways of moving through these beliefs, through these thoughts. I also feel like intention and or replacing it with other beliefs that I believe, right?
yes,
um,
yes, yes,
is the way to go. And I know I went back to the whole thing of like the soul choosing,
yes,
right?
yes.
Um, but it's not doing it for me right now. It's not doing it
So,
for me.
so what belief are you choosing?
I think I do have a fundamental belief, the soul having perhaps a different agenda than our conscious minds. I do fundamentally believe that. I do
Mhm.
fundamentally believe in the soul choosing our life circumstances and how we depart this
Mhm.
earth. I do fundamentally believe that. And yet
Mhm.
it doesn't outweigh, it doesn't move, it doesn't eliminate the other stuff.
Well, it doesn't yet, because you don't fully believe it. If you fully believed it, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
So that all, I'm not here
But
to
does that
make
make
anybody
sense
believe.
about it? I know in my core.
Well, it's like you're saying you want to believe it
um
all the way. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
because I
Because
believe that I will get there.
fair enough. So this is where tapping will really, really help. And it's just an
Or
extension of what, or
or should I take another pathway?
such as.
Another belief or another way.
Absolutely. You can, that's what I was just saying. Like, I can't make anybody believe anything, but what I can say is that as we become more and more practiced at non-judgment, I mean, the energy that we conserve, or that becomes available to us as we let go of judgment in our daily,
Oh,
weekly,
I
monthly
know.
lives, is astounding. It
Enormous.
takes up a tremendous
It
amount of
does.
energy. It's an
It
old
does.
habit, and it's a collective habit. Look around. You're not,
Oh, I know.
there's
No, wait,
nothing unique about this conversation, as
not at
unique
all.
as you are, but this
Some
subject,
people actually get upset over the fact that I even bring up that belief of the soul choosing, like, really
right.
upset. And I'm like, "This is my
ex-
mother we're talking about." Like,
yeah.
like, you know,
So all I can say is somebody who didn't have this belief at one point and then took it on, and the process of um, choosing to believe it, that's really all it is. And we know that choices abound. And here in this practice of living consciously and living intentionally, so much of that is being conscious, first and foremost, of what we're believing at any given time. How many times have you sat in spiritual workout and heard me say, "What are you believing?" Right? I just asked it a few minutes ago. So, knowing what we believe and being conscious of it is the first part. And then it's choosing it over and over and over again. Okay, this belief doesn't serve me. This belief serves me. I'm going to choose to continue to believe this. And now I'm questioning this one. Or you get to the point that you're describing. It's like, well, I understand that. I really do believe that, but I'm struggling. Stop me if I'm mischaracterizing. I'm struggling to apply it down here in my life today because I saw my mom. I saw how not ready for this she was on a conscious level. And it's hard to reconcile that reality that I experienced here in the 3D with this nebulous idea that non physically everybody's raring to go and super excited to
Yeah.
welcome her back home.
Yeah.
So it's, how does one choose to believe something by choosing to believe it and testing it out and playing around with it? What if I just chose to believe this for the next 3 days? That 100% she's it all went down the way that served not only her highest good, but is serving my highest good as well,
Yeah.
because that's what that teaching says, right? So play around with it.
Something
Also, a
else
thing
came
that will,
up. Something else came up
okay.
with that.
Well, let me just finish. A thing that will help is just, and I'm sure we've talked about this one way or another, is just accessing more and more stories and teachings so that it's not just me saying it, or it's not just, where you can start to hear this thought and teaching from a number of different
Yeah.
uh,
Like the video you sent
conduits.
me and
Exactly.
very
And
helpful.
so,
Mhm.
yeah, so more and more of that kind of stuff will help you to be like, oh, well, they're saying it this way, they're saying it this way, they're all saying the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that would fortify anybody because so
Yeah.
much, like you say,
I mean, I
you
even heard
barely,
Anderson Cooper, who is not about this life, okay, in this practice, like he's not about this life. I just heard him the other day talk about how his father, who passed away, I think years ago, how he now has a stronger connection and relationship to him than ever before. He was like tearing up about that. And he did not believe that this type of stuff beforehand. But he said, when he said that, I was like, oh, it made me feel more inspired about that
yes,
possibility.
good. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So just being open to, okay,
Because he
yeah, I
was
sort of
not open
believe
to
it.
this. And so
Yeah.
I'm open. I'm like, bring it on.
Well,
Not
good. So starting now, you're doing it, but you can do it more in a more focused way and simply ask your mom and ask your guides to help you with this. Send me more videos, send me more readings, send me more teachers, send me more Anderson Coopers, just ask for the help. Ask because that's, I it's not my job to convince you. My job is to show where this idea applies in one's life.
yeah.
It's not my job to make anyone believe anything. I work with people who say they already believe these things coming in. And then, like you and me and all of us, well, it's one thing to believe it, it's another thing to live it.
Yeah.
And that's a
Yes.
process that we go through, and that's okay. We
Yeah.
say
And
it's
I'm
where,
very
where
honest
the
about
rubber,
when I am
yeah,
living it and when I'm not.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think it's
just a
so
choice, and it's just you can just say to yourself, "I'm going to choose to believe this." I know I'm a little all over the map with it. Part of me fundamentally absolutely believes it, but my reality, it's hard to believe it down here in the life I'm living right now. So for the next 3 days, for the next 7 days, I'm going to just choose over and over and over and over again. Just choose to believe it. I can change my mind later, but I'm
Mhm.
going to choose to believe it now and see what happens.
I like to report that I have been choosing to believe it.
Good.
I have been making that choice because, like, even though in my body that sensation doesn't feel like 100% on board when I'm still choosing, and it does provide a little bit of relief. Like I do end up, I stop crying, you
Hmm.
know, when I think about that, and when I even talk to my mom, like, "Ma, like, I'm trying to understand why your soul would choose this," and, uh, just having this conversation, and just being like, "Well, this is the soul's choice," and it does bring up eh, it points to the power that we have, and not that we were, like, snatched up by fucking cancer or life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um,
It's quite the opposite. It's I'm going to go down and have an experience of cancer. It's going to serve me on a higher uh, level, my highest good, as well as those around me.
so when we talk about that, right? About not only serving, like, it's serving the person who has departed, but then also the people, their loved ones, right? So
Mhm.
in this case, my mom with me and my brother, um, and my family, but just in terms of
Yeah.
children, right, and me.
Mhm.
Um, I had another care professional, another professional on my care team who said that she got a download. She's a spiritual person, and that she got a download for my mom, that my mom basically went through this experience so that I don't have to, you
Mhm.
know, so that I can essentially, like, cut the shit. You know what I mean? In terms of, like, um, the patterns, that line,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And, you know, I started crying when she told me that. It was like a mixed type of crying. On the one hand, it was just like, "Aw," like endearing and touching. Um, but then on the other hand, I um I don't like the idea, and I never have, to be honest with you, the idea of, like, sacrifice and martyrdom. And
Mhm.
I yeah, I don't like, it kinda like, that's, like, the other part of it for me, honest, pat of
Mhm.
room, is that
Mhm.
if I don't like the idea that, "Oh, my mom had to die in order for me to connect more with the divine, in order for me to cut the shit," in our family line. I just don't like that. I think because I think of martyrdom and sacrifice, again, a little bit like victimy.
Well, you're the one who put the martyr label on it, right? Or was that
That's
part of
how
the
it
down?
that's how it that's how
That's how
it
it came
lands
across
on
to
me.
you.
Yeah,
Yes, I get
that's
it.
how it lands on
So,
me. Yeah.
look, I'm not the one who received the download, and I'm not here to interfere with any of
But
that.
even just you're
I
saying the whole, like, for her highest good and our highest good, right? Like, there's
Yeah,
still I yeah.
but to finish my thought about that, and again, I'm not here to interfere with any of it, but my hunch is that that could be a strand of what's in the whole mix. We're talking about her, her whole family, all the relationships she has, you, your brother, you, right? And so it's all orchestrated, so we believe, here for a reason, no accidents. It's, orchestrated so that, so it, my hunch is that would be one reason of many, one way to look at it, one benefit.
Okay.
I have a hard time believing that would be the only, but I could be wrong. I'm not here, but play around with that or ask more about that.
I
Ask for
I
more information.
I don't think that it's the only one, because I feel like she's the star of her own movie,
Yeah,
and
we all are.
exactly, and I think that her experience being for her highest good and my highest good, everyone around her's highest good, because that's the way we're seeing things. Like, it's more of like a secondary kind of thing, like another layer type of
Another
thing,
layer, right? Or
right?
another, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the main layer, the top layer, the juice, the meat of it all is her being the star of her own movie, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
Um, yeah. But I just wanted to bring that up because, these are like the really deep.
It's what's on your mind. It's what's going
Yeah,
on.
it's like, or it's like what's coming up in terms of like, and then I think, okay, well, why look at it as a sacrifice and martyrdom too? As if her passing away is a bad thing, right? Like you have to believe something else in order for it to be deemed as sacrifice or yeah, yeah.
So, two things, if I may.
Mhm.
One, I just want to make the point that a little while ago, when Delilah, when you were talking about, you know, looking for fond memories
Mhm.
versus the other kind, and then feeling sad, and you instantly found a family of beliefs, and we talked about tapping. And so all I want to say to anybody who's listening is Delilah has a lot of experience with that, and she can go and do that on her own. And I'm
Yeah.
100% confident about that, which is why, but otherwise, we might just do that tapping in the session. It just is kind of client dependent, if you will, in that way.
Tapping for inquiry.
Well, or just tapping out those beliefs,
Oh,
that are
okay.
adding up to the sad in this particular case. So we said we would tap on it, or you could tap on it. I just want to be clear that that's because you have so much experience that you know what that means and you can do that versus us doing it right now.
Should we try to do it?
Well, we could also. And the second thing that I wanted to say or ask is having reread your intention, even the current version of it, what would you say today? Uh, where are you relative to that intention? How aligned with it would you say you are? And usually, this is the question is 0 to 10. 10 is fully aligned. We're just taking the temperature. What would you say?
6.
Okay. So this practice is here's my intention. 10 out of 10 would be fully aligned. Right now, I'm a 6. So there's a gap between where I am today and where I would like to be, right? So then the question is, what am I believing? What part of me is not fully aligned? What's going
God,
on?
that's
Now,
a
is that a different set of beliefs than the ones we were just talking about, or that's kind of the same?
I think it's about the same because, like, first sentence, there's no doubt that I am connecting with my mom. I wouldn't say there's no doubt.
Yeah. Okay.
I am 100% certain that she's at her very best in the non-physical. I'm not 100% certain.
Okay.
um, I'm also not at like 10%. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's there in my conscious
You don't have to
mind.
say anything else.
Yeah. There is solid, unmistakable two-way communication between myself and my mom. I am not there. I'm not
Hmm.
there. Our connection and spiritual gain is so strong, powerful, and magical that it actually transcends the physical loss. I'm not that far away though. Like I feel like I can get there,
Hmm.
Um, the connection inspires and propels me to be bold, self expressive, and trusting of myself, life, and the divine. Same as the last sentence. I believe that I can, I believe that I can get there. I'm just not there
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
The place that I think I may be um, are the first 3 sentences where it's just like I'm a little further away, especially that
Okay.
there is solid,
Right.
unmistakable two-way
Okay.
communication between myself
All
and my
right.
mom. Yeah.
So this is the practice. So we're going to stick on this family of beliefs and doubts and whatever to just demonstrate here's my intention, here's me. What can I do to get closer? That's it. That's what we're doing. And we use tapping almost all the time in this regard. So let's just rock and roll for a little while. Yeah.
Legs, feet uncrossed.
Thank you very much. All right. So, karate chop. Even though when it comes to my overarching intention
Even though when it comes to my overarching intention
for processing through the experience of my mom's passing,
for processing through the experience of my mom's passing,
I'm not fully aligned in this moment.
I'm not fully aligned in this moment.
I'm choosing here now to see if I can get closer to it.
I'm choosing here and now to see if I can get closer to it.
Even though I'm not fully aligned with this intention we've been talking about right now,
Even though I'm not fully aligned with this intention that I'm talking about right now.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself completely.
Good. Still on the karate chop. Even though I'm not fully aligned with my intention at the
Even
moment,
even though I'm not fully aligned with my intention at the moment.
I'm choosing here and now to see if I can move closer to it.
I'm choosing here and now to see if I can move closer to it.
Eyebrow. There are some thoughts and ideas that I feel fairly good about.
There are some thoughts and ideas that I feel fairly good about.
Sides of the eyes. I absolutely feel good about the whole idea of spiritual gain.
I feel good about this idea of spiritual gain.
Under the eyes. And I feel pretty good about the idea of being connected
And I feel pretty good about the idea of being connected.
under the nose, the knowing that it's possible.
Knowing that it's possible.
And even if I'm not experiencing it all the way yet.
Even though I'm not experiencing it all the way
Mhm.
yet.
Yeah. Collarbone. And then there's some ideas in my intention
And then there are some ideas in my intention
under the arm in this moment today.
in this moment today,
Good. Top of the head. Where my doubt is a lot stronger.
where my doubt is a lot stronger.
Mhm. Eyebrow. When I read the first 2 or 3 sentences of the intention,
When I read the first 3 sentences of the intention,
mhm, sides of the eyes, a whole bunch of doubt comes up
yeah, a whole bunch of doubt comes up.
under the eyes. I'm not really truly yet living the
I'm not
desire
truly yet living this desire.
under the nose. I can't say I'm 100% certain that she's at her best on the other side.
I can't say that I'm 100% certain that she's at her best at the other
Mm.
side.
On the chin. I can't say that I'm 100% certain that she's at her best on the other side.
I can't say that I'm 100% certain that she's at her best on the other side.
Collarbone. Part of me just doubts that right now.
Um,
Part of me doesn't fully believe that right now.
Part of me doesn't fully believe that. Part of me can't get to 100.
Yeah, under the arm. Uh, I can't say with absolute certainty right now,
I can't say with absolute certainty right now
top of the head, that I'm experiencing solid, unmistakable two-way communication with my mom.
I can't say that I'm 100% certain that I'm experiencing solid,
Solid
unmistakable two-way communication with my mom. That one,
eyebrow.
very strong.
Yeah. I am not today feeling solid, unmistakable two-way communication with my mom.
I am not at this moment, experiencing solid two-way communication with my mom.
Sides of the eyes. And it's this family of thoughts and ideas and beliefs
And it's this family of thoughts and ideas and beliefs.
under the eyes, not being 100% certain that she's at
Not,
her best.
not being 100% certain that she's at her very best.
Mhm. Under the nose, not being all the way solid and unmistakable in two-way communication.
Not being all the way solid and unmistakable in the two-way communication.
The chin, that
Mm.
have me a little bit out of alignment right now.
Has me feeling pretty choppy
Yeah.
about it.
Mhm. And so I'm just going to spend a few minutes
And so I'm just going to spend a few minutes
under the arm, having acknowledged where the doubts are,
having acknowledged where the doubts are.
top of the head, thinking and talking about where I'd rather be.
Thinking and talking about where I'd rather be.
Eyebrow. I'd rather have zero doubt at all.
I'd rather have zero doubt, like no doubt whatsoever.
Right. Sides of the eyes. I'd rather be what my desire is.
What'd you say?
I'd rather be living what my desire is.
I'd rather be living what my desire is.
Under the eyes, I'd rather be living with 100% certainty.
I'd rather be living with 100% certainty.
Under the nose, I'd rather be living knowing that she is right where she's supposed to be.
I'd rather be living knowing that she's right where she's supposed to be.
The chin. I'd rather be experiencing every day.
I'd rather be experiencing every day.
Collarbone, or whenever I want to.
Whenever I want to.
Under the arm, that solid, unmistakable two-way communication.
That solid, unmistakable two-way communication.
Top of the head. When my mom and I have solid, unmistakable two-way communication.
When my mom and I have solid, unmistakable two-way communication.
Eyebrow. Then what that will do for me.
Then what that will do for me is.
You go. Sides of the eyes.
I'll bring more of an enthusiasm with life, looking forward to life, feeling more open and daring.
The chin. So in intention language, I feel enthusiastic.
I feel enthusiastic.
Collarbone. I know what enthusiasm feels like.
I know what enthusiasm feels like.
Under the arm. And I know I'll feel that when she and I are really communicating.
And I know I'll feel that when she and I are really communicating. Life also feels more magical. More magical.
Yeah.
More romantic.
Yeah.
Scrumptious, delightful.
Right. So magical, scrumptious, delightful is mine for the taking.
It's magical, scrumptious, delightful is mine for the taking.
Under the eyes. My mom can help me with that.
My mom can help me with that.
Under the nose. And I know she one way or another.
And I know she is one way or the other.
I know it's possible.
I know it's possible.
Collarbone. And when it comes to what I call spiritual gain,
And when it comes to what I call spiritual gain,
under the arm, what I've experienced thus far,
what I've experienced thus far
top of the head is
trusting the divine more.
So my trust muscle is growing.
My trust muscle is growing.
Sides of the eyes. As a result of my mom's passing, my trust in the divine is growing.
As a result of my mom's passing, my trust in the divine is growing.
Under the eyes, which is part of my intention.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I was
Which
just going to
is part
repeat it.
of my intention.
Yeah, under the nose.
Whew.
As a result of my mom's passing.
As a result of my mom's passing.
The chin, and my intentions for processing this experience.
And my intentions for processing this experience.
Collarbone. One thing I can say for sure.
One thing I can say for sure.
Under the arm is my trust in the divine is growing.
Is my trust in the divine is growing.
My trust in the divine is growing as a result of my intention.
My trust in the divine is growing as a result of my intention.
Eyebrow, which was a result of my mom's passing.
Which was a result of my mom's passing.
Size of the eyes. So there are more than a few glimmers here.
There's more than a few glimmers here.
Under the eyes of using this experience.
Of using this experience.
Under the nose as a vehicle for my own growth.
As a vehicle for my own growth.
And chin. So even if I'm not all the way aligned yet today.
Even if I'm not all the way aligned yet today.
Collarbone. I can take some responsibility.
I can take some responsibility.
Under the arm for the growth that I'm seeing already.
For the growth that I'm seeing already.
Top of the head. And I can choose to believe.
And I can choose to believe.
That I will continue on this path.
That I will continue on this path.
Because it's my intention.
Because it's my intention. Oh, good.
Great. Nice deep breath.
The trusting the divine more is crucial. You know why? One, I feel like that actually kind of takes care of everything else. But two, I could go two ways with, well, many ways, but these main two ways with this experience, I can be further not trusting the divine because of what happened, which is what I notice I'm kind of like a little bit like this with, you know? Or I can use this to be double down on trusting the divine. Yeah. Yeah.
And what we learn in our...
I feel like that kind of took the edge off of this, you know?
Good. Well, because somebody's a 6 out of a 10 in the moment. So it's not in the trash, but it's not quite all the way there. So part of it is let's look for the pieces that really are working. So now I have to ask you, 0 to 10, has that 6 moved at all?
Yeah, I would say it's more like 8 now.
All right. So if you ask me, an investment of what, 15 minutes or so to move that much? Yeah, maybe less. To move that much? I mean, it sounds like, but that's pretty significant if you ask me.
Yeah, no, that piece of it was...
Well, before we got to that, so the process that I personally was bringing to this tapping session was, be present to what is. I'm not feeling it all the way. And here are the reasons why. So I'm a big fan of starting there. That's
Yeah.
where we set it up. Even though I'm thinking and believing this, even though I have to, because we need to give voice to whatever's
Yes.
present, whether
It's a
we like
padded
it or
room.
not. So it's resisting, it's dialing down resistance, dialing down judgment, dialing down denial. You weren't, no denial here, but it's just, so the process that we did, there's a method to it. It's acknowledging what's off kilter in the moment. We gave it a fair amount of time, and then what can we find in here that's actually, and that you could see is where Delilah's energy just came up, and that's
Yeah.
where that 6 to 8 happened. But I don't think it would have happened if we didn't do the first part first, and that's why we do tapping. We do, it's a two-way street. We're always releasing and always kind of tapping in. Well, not always, but often. We're doing the releasing, the tapping in, or
Yeah.
some combination.
Yeah. I love that because I felt like positioning it in a way of like making a choice of which avenue I'm going to go down, right? It made me feel a little bit more empowered,
Yes.
like, and also clear as to how to get out of that soup,
Yeah.
you know,
And we can
or
always get out.
actually mud.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just very muddy there,
Yeah.
But no, that's really great because I felt the sensation of a lifting, like, oh, I feel lighter.
Yeah. It was obvious.
Yeah, right. It was, right? Because I was just like, oh, right. Because I think I was dealing with the whole idea of like this experience could bring me to further not trusting the divine because look at what happened to my mom versus no, like this can is actually making you trust the divine even more so, like you can double down on it, right?
And
So
yes,
yeah.
oftentimes, so we know that trust is a choice. It
Yeah.
doesn't get rained down upon us. We can't buy it anywhere. We just have to choose to trust. And so when people ask me in the course of the, well, how do I trust? It's like
You have to choose that.
you have to choose it, and then you have to re-choose it and re-choose it. So the
Practice
answer
it.
becomes trust more. How do I learn to trust? Trust more. Choose to trust. Keep doing it. You might get burned once or twice along the way. Oh, okay. I'm not going to trust that anymore. Act of choosing. I'm just going to choose to trust. I'm going to choose to trust. I'm going to choose to trust. I'm going to choose to trust. Eventually, all of all of what it just clears the path. It clears the path. I trust that I'm in the right place. I trust that my mom is where she's supposed to be. I trust that it all went down the way it was going to go down. I trust that I can grow from this. Can uh, live my intentions when it
Yeah,
comes
that
to this
actually reminds
or
me of what
anything.
Malcolm Jamal Warner's mother said. I think I sent that clip to you. Um, the actor's mom, uh,
Hmm.
and what she said about trusting, like, she's of the belief that that was his path. That was his, um, that's all he wrote on this, in this
Yeah.
terrain,
Hmm.
and that is her belief, you
Hmm.
know. And I remember her saying that, and that she feels really complete with the years that they had together in this terrain, you know? And I felt very much the same way about my mom.
Yeah.
Um, but again, re-choosing.
Again
Uh,
and again.
yeah,
Until it becomes settled as a new default. Then it's
yeah,
not an effort. Then
right.
it's, we were touching on this before. I kind of want to believe that. Do I really believe it? I want
Mhm,
to. I sort of believe it up here, and I'm not quite believe. Right? What did I say? Choose to believe it. Just choose. Choose to believe it. Choose to believe it. Choose to believe it, and see what happens.
mhm, mhm. Hmm. Well,
Good for now.
yeah. No, that was really, really good. That was like really good. It's, gets me back to uh the big picture here, which is trusting the divine, a better relationship with the divine, trusting the divine. That's like the big
And
thing.
this, and part of cultivating an intention is looking for any nugget that aligns with it and stoking it. And that's what we were doing at
Yeah.
the
Yeah. It's funny
towards
too,
the
because when I was talking to my cousin about health stuff, right? And I was just like, wow, you and my husband are very much the type that it's just like, oh, I just go and get the scan, like I'm gonna see what's going on. And I was like, what is it that like allows you to just do that, like you don't get scared and stuff like that. And she's like, no, because I have a lot of faith in my plant medicine, you know? I have and my husband the same thing. I have a lot of faith in myself and taking care of it. I just need to know what's going on. And I was like, "Oh, I don't have that right now.
right.
I don't
You
have
think it's
that."
going to be curtains if you get some.
Yeah, if I get
Yeah.
some news or whatever that
Right.
something's off or whatever, it's just like, you know, um, uh,
Whereas
and
they project, oh, I know how to get healthy.
yeah, like I want to
Yeah.
know because I'm going to take
Right.
care of it,
Yeah.
right? Like I know I'm going to take care of it.
Right.
And I'm more of like I don't even want to know because it's going to fuck me up. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like, eh. It's because I don't trust that I'm going to take care of it, you know?
Yeah.
And so it brings this
So
up again.
there's another intention.
The running theme.
Yeah.
Well, it's trusting the divine. Really, it all
Right.
boils down to that,
Yeah.
trusting life, trusting the divine, right? Trusting your co-creative abilities.
Exactly. All of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff. Thank you once again, Stephen. This
You're
has
most
been
welcome.
definitely a great pivot, where I've been in the last couple of weeks, just like, well, this month has been kind of like, oof, okay. Um, but not all the way. It's like, it's a blender because there's like glimmers and there's like all this stuff. But this was like really, really helpful in terms of like being able to make that nice shift, into um, better feeling beliefs
Yes.
and intentions. All right. Well, Steven Morrison here, creator,
Delilah,
spiritual workout,
Delarosa.
creator, spiritual workout, author of An Extra Year, Grief and Loss in a New Age. I'm Delilah De La Rosa, the person who has been receiving this unconventional wisdom on grief and loss, week 27. Like I mentioned earlier, this is probably going to be the last session for a bit as Stephen ventures out of the country and I live a little, apply a bit, align a bit. And we'll see when the next time we can get together and do this. Uh, Fill everyone in on how things are going and how
Yeah.
trust the divine is going.
Hmm.
But thank you so much, Stephen, for all your availability, your attention, your care over these last, 27 sessions. And of course, even beyond that, from before and after, like, you're major. I want to keep you in my pocket. So
Well,
thank
thank you.
everyone who's been taking a look at these sessions, sharing them with whoever you feel like may need them. They all live on our YouTube channel. So feel free to share whatever speaks to you, what you think would speak to anyone else who's dealing with who's having a similar experience. Anything you'd like to say, Stephen, before we go?
Just again, thanks to you for your willingness. This is in the can, as we used to say, and forever available to anyone who chooses to walk this path.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Lots of love to you, my friend.
Thank you.
And thank you
Likewise.
so much for everything. Until the next time, everyone. Bye.